Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is JaytheRocketMan, and you're watching the origins of first-person shooter games. To help support this video, please drop a like so I know people like this sort of thing. Whether you're an enthusiast of the first-person shooter gaming genre, or you're just looking for some general history on FPS games, you found the correct video. Today I'm going to be teaching you all about the concept of FPS gaming and how it's been adapted into today's culture. So first, let's discuss what the term first-person shooter, or commonly abbreviated FPS, really means. By Wikipedia's definition, a first-person shooter is a video game genre centered on gun and projectile weapon-based combat through a first-person perspective. For the most part, the definition is in the term itself. First person identifies the player's perspective, and the shooting term obviously indicates that there will be a shooting projectile. Way to go, Wikipedia. Let's roll back the pages and begin with where it all started. Arguably, no one can pinpoint the exact date in which the first FPS games were conducted, but the gaming mechanics of walking in a 3D atmospheric field from a first-person perspective can be traced all the way back to 1973. There was a group of high school seniors in a work-study program with NASA. You know, NASA, the National Freaking Aeronautics and Space Administration. They were assigned the task of messing around with the MLAC PDS-1 and the PDS-4 mini-computers. Seemingly enough, these seniors were able to create the first 3D-style mechanics in order to maneuver through a maze and find an exit point. The game, dubbed Maze War, eventually made it to the public in its initial release date in 1974. The game had definitely been improved on since the early versions and even contained the compatibility of multiplayer. Another notable reference is a game titled Space Sim, which is an abbreviation for Space Simulation. This game was a 32-player 3D networked space simulation game that involved 4 planetary systems. A gentleman by the name of Jim Bowery created the game for the Play-Doh computer system and released it on March 1st, 1974. Bowery claims that this was the first 3D multiplayer game and has even put up a reward for $500 for anyone who can provide documented proof otherwise. Over the next few years, the 3D gameplay mechanics would evolve and spawn other games such as 3D Monster Maze and Phaseball 2000. Now, we could go on all day talking about other select titles that were created with this so-called 3D mock engine. But we're going to skip a little into the future and begin with the year 1992. Why, you may ask? Well, it's only because Wolfenstein 3D was released. Wolfenstein 3D is an action-packed, Nazi-slaughtering, German-destroying masterpiece that was released for the PC operating system known as DOS by a company named ID Software. The game received so much attention that it was placed on the Computer Gaming World's 150 Best Games of All Time list in 1996. It has also received awards such as the 1993 Best Action Arcade Game Award at the Shareware Industry Awards. The final boss, being Hitler, was categorized as the 15th greatest boss in video game history by the Phoenix newspaper in 2006. I guess that you can say Wolfenstein 3D was the first FPS game, right? Well, arguably, if you include Catacomb Abyss 3D, which was released 1 year prior, you could traditionally give the title of being the original gangster to this game. But regardless, Wolfenstein 3D has been titled as the grandfather of the FPS genre because of its impact. The game most certainly set the stage for new FPS titles to come. Following the successes of Wolfenstein 3D, ID released another game titled Doom. Doom was established as an early FPS that pioneered the way for more to come. It most certainly improved on the mechanics from Wolfenstein 3D with a little bit of special sauce added. Following these two games were more titles that definitely needed some recognition, such as Alien vs. Predator, Descent, Duke Nukem 3D, and among many others. Let's go ahead and zoom into the year of 1996, where the popularized franchise series known as Quake first began. Yet another game released by ID Software, this legacy was known for its engine that was used. The same engine that built Quake would form the fundamentals and basics of the current FPS games we have now. I honestly wish that I could specify each and every individual FPS game that was released between 1991 to the current year. They have all attributed something special to the genre as a whole. Phew. Guys, we made it. You've officially learned how the FPS game genre was founded. Well, sorta. As stated previously in this video, no one can pinpoint the exact date in which the FPS gaming genre came to life. Although many gamers hold their own assumptions and beliefs, we never can explicitly define anything as being the first FPS game. As for today's mechanics, the fate of the FPS game genre lies in our hands. What will become of it next? We have the power to decide.